And this is the RYDEEN PV8-A LCD mirror, which completely replaces the mirror on your vehicle with an LCD screen. Now this is very similar to what you see on some newer vehicles, and this mirror can allow you to achieve that same OEM look. Also, this mirror supports reversing guidelines, and on this video I'm gonna walk you through its features, and I'm gonna show you some test drive video both at day and at night, that way we can see how well it actually performs. And as always, I'd like to remind you that I place a link in the description down below to the PV8-A if you want to take it a look further or if you want to acquire one for yourself. And the rear camera features all metal construction. Now this could be mounted on the inside of the vehicle, but this is waterproof, so it could also be mounted on the outside of the car. And for mounting, they included double-sided tape, gets applied right here. I can then peel this back and then attach it to the vehicle. They have also included this mounting wedge, which can give the rear camera a slightly down orientation. However, if you wanted further control of tilt, they have included this little bracket, and with this installed, now the rear camera can be fully adjusted as far as moving up or down. And this is what the rear camera extension cable looks like. And for power, they have included a hardwire kit. And this green wire can also enable reverse guidelines, what people know as parking assist, which I'll show you in a little bit. And we are presented with the rear of the vehicle. Also notice that there are two icons in the bottom, but those icons go away after a little bit, giving us a nice clean rear view, something that is not very common on LCD mirrors. Also notice that if I tap on the screen, those icons come back, but if I swipe on the screen up and down, I am also able to adjust the view, and that can be done on either side as far as adjusting the view. Now this particular mirror supports automatic brightness adjustment. However, you could turn that off if desired, and then you get this little slider where you're able to manually adjust the brightness. However, I found that the automatic brightness adjustment on this mirror is just right, so I leave this on because it dims the display at night and it brightens it up during the day. Now there is a physical button located in the bottom of the unit, and tapping that button turns off the LCD display, and notice what happens. Now this looks very similar to a normal mirror. Now this is a safety feature, that way in case the LCD function fails, you could potentially still use this because it will behave similarly to a mirror. Now also this button right here, if I tap and hold it, it will turn off the mirror completely. Let me show you how that looks. Now let's take a look at parking assist. I'm gonna put the vehicle in reverse. And as you can see, the view shifted down a few degrees lower, allowing me to see a little better for backing up, but I also get reverse guidelines. Now these guidelines are adjustable, and I'll show you how to adjust them right now. But first I wanna show you that when I put the car out of reverse, the view returns to the prior one. But now let's take a look at the settings menu, and the first two items control the reverse guidelines. First off, you can choose whether you want the guidelines to be on or off. The second item allows us to calibrate them. Now that is done by moving this little blue triangle, and that can be done with the first icon. Notice how it jumps from one position to the next position and so on. And then with the next ones, we can adjust them either up or down, or we can adjust them from the left or to the right till we find that position that we want, and then save that preset with the save icon. The rear camera can also be adjusted as far as flipping it horizontally, but also the front camera. Now this particular mirror is currently only equipped with the rear camera, so changing this has no effect, but this does support a second channel. Let's go over to the next page of settings, and under camera input selection, here's where you're able to select which is the view that you want to see by default when the mirror turns on, either the front camera, rear camera, or both the front and the rear cameras. Moving over to languages, there are 4 languages to choose from: English, French, Spanish, or Japanese. Next up is gonna be the screensaver, and what this does, this will turn off the display after a certain period of time. The reverse trigger can also be enabled or disabled. If you want parking assist guidelines, I would say make sure that the parking light display option is on, and also that reverse trigger option is on as well. Now the tapping sound that you hear when I touch on the monitor can be turned off by turning off the sound. Now you also notice that there is a micro SD option, and that is because this can actually receive updates via a micro SD card slot that it is equipped with. And for that, you will use the system update option. Now, if you just want to see what firmware version you're on, here's where you can see that. And now that I've shown you the features of this unit, let's take it out on a test drive. That way we can see how well it performs both at day and at night. Now I really think this mirror is going to be a good fit for anybody who wants an OEM style mirror, something small and discreet. If you're looking for a large LCD mirror, this is probably going to feel a little bit small to you. However, there is one big advantage of having a small form factor like this. This is a typical OEM mirror. This actually came off my Corolla, and you can see on here that these guys are pretty much almost about the same size. Now again, that not only does achieve the OEM look, but it also has a tremendous advantage, and that is with the visors. When folding the visors out on larger mirror dash cams, they can typically conflict once you upgrade to an LCD mirror. In here, because the mirror remains somewhat relatively small, if not almost identical to OEM, now the visors are able to fully open if you want to continue to use them. If you don't care to use your visors, then yeah, you can go even larger. Now, I did run into a small issue with the rear camera. If the rear camera is mounted just with adhesive and mounted to the vehicle, not a problem. Same thing if using the wedge. It mounts directly to the vehicle, not an issue. However, if you are looking to use that tail bracket, that bracket attaches to the back of the rear camera, but the rear camera case has the little stubs that kind of stick out, and those little stubs sort of get in the way of using a screwdriver to tighten the position of the camera, and it can make it a little bit difficult. I had to find a small screwdriver to be able to tighten those, because especially if it's mounted on the vehicle and you're looking to adjust the tilt angle and then lock it in place, it can be very tricky to get in there and tighten them, especially because a small screwdriver doesn't let you apply the full amount of torque that a larger screwdriver can to lock that position in place. So it'll be great if RYDEEN can get rid of those little stubs on the rear camera case. That way we can bring in a full-size screwdriver and tighten down and lock the location of the camera. But going back to the mirror, you'll notice that the cables come out the back, not out the top. Now that allows for these cables to be sort of hidden once this is installed, again achieving that OEM look. Now, one interesting thing that I think does also set this thing apart from other LCD mirrors that I've seen is the high brightness output of the backlight. And I think that extra brightness can definitely help to reduce the glare. Now, you're still gonna have some glare on the screen because the front has to be reflective. In case the LCD panel fails, it reverts back to a mirror. So getting rid of glare completely is not an option, but the high brightness definitely helps a lot. And if you're looking to use this guy as a mirror dash cam, RYDEEN does have an add-on, so you can upgrade it with DVR capabilities. And also this system is compatible with their side camera systems and the V90 backup camera. That camera is kind of interesting because it really increases the range of how much you can see out the back. And I have made a video both for that camera, and I have made videos for the side camera upgrades. If you guys want to check those out, I'll put links to those videos in the description down below. And if I can get a hold of that the DVR add-on, I'll also make a video for that. So remember, I placed a link in the description down below to the PV8-A in case you want to get one for yourself or look at it further. And if you guys have any other questions regarding this, please put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button to support the channel, and stay tuned as I have a lot more reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.